Hi everyone, Monique here, Little Gems Creations 1. Today we are going to be knitting a Barbie dress, and we're going to start that in just a moment. Hi everyone, Monique here, Little Gems Creations 1. Today we are going to be knitting a Barbie dress. You're going to need some 3 3/4 or 3.75 millimeter knitting needles. You're gonna need some yarn. I'm using Ice Cream Big Scoop Lion brand. It is a light 3, so 3 ply, and it's the appropriate size to this size needles. You're gonna need a pair of scissors, a darning needle, and a sew-on snap. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to make a slip knot. Now we're going to want a bit of a tail because we're going to use it to sew up the dress at the end. So the way I make a slip knot is I cross my yarn, I hold it at the cross, I go around my thumb, and then the loop that I made around my thumb, I pull the tail through. Sorry, long nails. Okay, and then you've got your slip knot. So let's do that again. And I'll try not to be so awkward. Okay, so you cross your yarn. Okay, and where it's crossed, you hold it. You go around your thumb, and the loop that you made around your thumb, you pull the yarn through. And then that gives you your slip knot. If you have another way to make a slip knot, by all means do it. This is the way I do it. Okay, so to start this Barbie dress, we're working from the bottom up. And we are going to cast on 48 stitches, okay? So I'm going to show you how I cast on. So I have my slip knot. I've gone into the loop, yarn over, pull that through, and then that new loop goes on the needle. Now for the next cast on, I go between the stitches. See how I've done that? I'm between the stitches. Yarn over, pull through, and that loop goes on. And you just continue this until you get 48 stitches. If you have another way that you prefer to cast on, then by all means do that as well. The main thing is you cast on 48 stitches, okay? So cast on 48 stitches and meet me back. Okay, so I've casted on my 48 stitches, and what we're going to do now is we're going to knit each stitch for 3 rows. Okay, so to do a knit, you go in, yarn over, pull through, and pop off. Then you go into the next one, yarn over, pull through, pop off. And you want to make sure you always have 48 stitches. And we're just going to knit all the way across for 3 rows, okay? So 3 rows, knit only, and then you can meet me back. Now that you have done 3 rows of knitting, we are now going to switch to the stockinette stitch, which is 1 row of knit and 1 row of purl. Okay, so as you recall, you do a knit like this, and we're going to do knit all across the row. And I guess it's a good time to remind you to check the description. I put all kinds of links to all kinds of goodies in my description. A written pattern for this dress will be coming soon. I also have links to my Etsy store and links to other tutorials, knit tutorials for Barbie. There's all kinds of goodies in that description, so be sure you get a chance to just take a peek in there, okay? So we're gonna knit all the way for this row. This really is a very simple pattern for Barbie. All you need to know are knit and purl. Well, that's what most of knitting is, but this one's pretty basic and easy. And after a while, you'll zip through these dresses like nothing because you'll just be so familiar. So, stockinette stitch is one row of knit like I'm doing, and then we're going to do a row of purl. So I'm just going to get to the end of this row of knit and meet you back, and then I'll show you how to do a purl just in case you're a very new person to the whole knitting scene, and I want you to feel confident with how to do the purl stitch, okay? So this is knit, and I'll be back in a minute to show you purl. So I've finished this row, and this is what we're looking at so far. So now I'm going to show you how to do a purl. So you want your yarn at the front of your work, and you're going into the stitch, wrapping, pull through. Into the stitch, wrap, pull through. Into the stitch, wrap, pull through. You're doing this all the way to the other end, and that's row 2 of the stockinette stitch pattern, okay? So there's 2 rows to the stockinette stitch, 1 row of knit, 1 row of purl. I want you to do this until your piece measures 2 inches, and that's from the beginning. That's from those knit rows that we did at the beginning, okay? So I want you to do 2 inches total, and then meet me back. Knit 1 row, purl 1 row, stockinette stitch. You do that and meet me back. Okay, so mine measures a little bit longer than 2 inches, but you want it around 2 inches. And you want to end having just finished the purl row. So your right side is facing, which is the knit row. Now what we're going to do is we are going to knit 2 together. So see how I have 2 that I'm putting my needle through? We're going to knit 2 together all the way across. We should end up with 24 stitches, okay? Okay, so 2 together, come off, and then go between the 2, yarn over, pull through, and those 2 off. You're doing this all the way across the row. So you have 24 stitches. So if you haven't figured it out, which I'm sure you have because you saw my thumbnail that made you want to do this video, this is a mermaid dress. It's like a mermaid dress. I think that's what this style is called. If I'm not right, make sure you leave me a comment and tell me the proper name for this dress. So, yarn over through 2. We're doing this all the way across. And I'm just going to stay with you while I do it because it's not going to take too long. And then we're going to have 24 stitches. And this Barbie dress is very forgiving. So if you, like I said, I went a little bit over 2 inches on my bottom part here, that's okay. And if you go a little under, that's okay as well. It all works out. Still will be a lovely Barbie dress. Okay, so we're almost at the end here. Oh, and if you haven't had a chance, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Hit the little bell so you get notifications. Okay, so that was my last two. So I'm just going to double count. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Perfect. I'm going to turn my work. We're still working stockinette stitch, okay? So I'm going to purl across. And then we'll be back to our pattern of knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row. And we're going to do that until this measures from the beginning, so from our little ruffle here, until it measures 6 inches, okay, from the start. So knit a row, purl a row. We're just going to purl this. And this is a very nice pattern to do with variegated yarn because there's not a lot of texture in this cute little dress. So a variegated like I'm using is quite lovely. And sometimes people get variegated and they're like, what do I do with it? And this is perfect for that situation. Okay. So we're just purling this row. And then we'll go back to our knit a row and purl a row, knit a row, purl a row, until it measures roughly 6 inches, and you're gonna finish off with the purl row so you'll have the knit row facing. Okay, and this is what we've got so far. Okay, so make it 6 inches and meet me back. So after you've done this 6 inches from the bottom, I want you to do 3 rows of knit, which I've already done. Okay, so do 3 rows of knit. Now we're going to start our armholes. So still in the knit, we are going to knit 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then we're going to knit 5 and 6. We're going to bring one over top of the other. We are going to cast off. That's what we just did. We're going to knit another. We're going to cast off 5. 2. 3. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so then we're going to knit 4. We already have one on this side though, so 1, 2, 3, 4, which gives us 5 in the middle there. Okay. Oh, hold on. We're going to knit 5. So we'll have 6 in the middle here. 2, 4, 6. Then we're going to knit another and another, and the front or the back. This one we're gonna cast off 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, then we have 1 there. We're just going to knit the last 3. Okay, so we should have 4, cast off 5, 6, cast off 5, 4. Okay, so now we're going to turn our work and still in knit. We're going to knit these 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our working yarn here is here. We're going to turn our work. We're going to put our working yarn at the back. We're going to cast on 8. I know we only cast off 5, but we're going to cast on 8 because we want to have a bit of a longer strap. So 1, and then we go between our stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, get on there, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to turn our work again. Okay, and we want to make sure that working yarn is at the back. We're going to knit across those 6 stitches. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to turn our work. Don't drop your stitches, be careful. Make sure that working yarn is at the back. And going between the stitches, we're going to cast on 8 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Turn your work. Oops. And make sure that working yarn is at the back. Sorry, I have a bit of a rat's nest here. Let me just get rid of that. Okay. Working yarn at the back, and you're just going to knit across those last 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, turning your work and still doing knit, I want you to knit across all those stitches, okay? So, you've got all this now to work with, okay? So work across all those stitches just in your knit and meet me back. Okay, so now to finish off this dress, we are going to knit this next row, but we're going to bind off, okay? So you knit 2 stitches, and then one goes over top of the other. Knit another stitch, and it goes over top. Knit another stitch, it goes over top. And you're doing this all the way to the end, okay, guys? We're almost done. We're like stitching up the back and adding a snap, and our dress is done. So bind off all the way to the other end. Meet me back. Okay, so we've got all the way to the other end. We're gonna cut a bit of a tail, pull our tail through your loop, and there we go. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these sides together, so right sides facing, and we're gonna sew 2/3 the way up the dress, okay? So to about halfway of this, okay? Do that. Well, actually, I'll go get my needle so that I can show you how to do it, and then we'll meet back. Okay, so I'm back. Now thread that long tail we left in the beginning, and we're putting right sides together, and we're gonna do what's called a whip stitch. So all you do is you go from one side to the other. Can you see that? And we're just gonna do that. Whoops. Aw. We're just gonna do that 2/3 of the way up the dress. Okay. Don't pull too tight because you don't want to distort the dress, okay? So. Just keep on going. And if you haven't had a chance, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. I know I've already said that once in the video, but you know, it's important. Then we're just going to keep going up the skinny side. Until you're about halfway up the skinny side. And you want to keep your stitches fairly close together. And this is just called the whip stitch. Whoops. Okay, so when I get to about where I want to stop, which is here, I'm going to put in a couple extra stitches because that's where it's going to have the most pull, whether it's, you know, kids or friends, whatever, they'll have the most pull. So here I'm going to make a knot. So I go into that loop twice. I'm going to pull tight, and you never cut where you knot. So I'm going to put a few more stitches just going back down. You never cut where you knot. Never, ever, ever. Doesn't matter if you're doing beadwork, knitting, crocheting, never cut where you knot. So now I've gone down a few, so I'll cut there. Then I want to just tuck this thread in from the top. And it's going to be too thick to go through your sew-on snaps, so I'm just going to tuck it through some of the stitches. And this is the wrong side, so yeah. Oh, my lights are doing wonky things. Okay, so then I'm just going to give that a snip. And then I'm going to turn it inside in. and you would sew your snap-on. So let's see, this is what our dress looks like. Isn't that adorable? Of course, there'll be a picture with it on Barbie. But that's it, guys. That's all there is to this dress. So thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to look in the description for all those goodies I said. I have all kinds of links to all kinds of things. It's really worth it to go check the description. And also, our channel now has merchandise. So you can go check that out as well. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye now.